So I'll begin. First, the occasion is, I believe, a new set of Bhagavatam. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Bhagavatam says about itself, Bhagavatam says many very important, powerful things about itself. For example, idang, one which always inspired me, idang Bhagavatam nama, this work named Bhagavatam, idang Bhagavatam nama, Puranam, it is a Purana, that's the genre. Purana in Sanskrit means ancient, related actually to our English word previous, something that happened long ago. And so it's a genre of literature that tells ancient stories and preserves ancient culture. And so idang Bhagavatam nama, Puranam, this Purana named Bhagavatam, the Bhagavata Purana. Idang Bhagavatam nama Purana Brahma Samhitam. Now you've heard of the Brahma Samhita, as they call it. That's a different word. Sam means together, like Sankirtan, together Kirtan. And Hita means placed. So like a collection or an anthology is called a Samhita, something which different things are placed together. This is a different word. This is the word in this verse about the Bhagavatam self-description. Idang Bhagavatam nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam. Now, mita in Sanskrit means measured. And from the Sanskrit verb ma, to measure, matra, we have that still in English in words like meter, metric, and so on. That's Sanskrit matra. And so the verb is ma, but the past participle, like measured, something which is measured, is mita. So some mita means that it's measured as the same. It's measured like things are together in the sense that they're equal. And so it means that, and Brahma, of course, means the absolute truth. This is not the creator Brahma. This is Brahman, the absolute truth. And so it said this Purana named Bhagavatam literally is measured as equal to the absolute truth. So it's Krishna himself actually appears in the Bhagavatam. Puranam Brahma Samhitam. And other things, for example, Krishna Swadam Opagate Dharma Jnana Viksaha. Now that when Krishna left this world 5,000 years ago, a lot of people were very worried because Krishna came to this world when demons were running amok, when the earth had become a dangerous place for good people, for saintly people, for Brahmins. And Krishna came down and saved the world. And so when Krishna left the world, there were a lot of people who were seriously worried, like, okay, as long as Krishna was here, he established Dharma, like what's the right thing to do? And he gave us perfect knowledge. Now, where will we find shelter? Dharma kang sharanangataha. At the end of the first chapter of the Bhagavatam, the sages in Naimisharanya say, where has Dharma gone for shelter? Who is protecting Dharma? Which means doing the right thing, acting properly. Everything that can mean everything from paying your taxes to surrendering to God. In other words, who is protecting Dharma now? And the answer was, Kalo Nasta Drishamesha Puranarka Dunodita. Now that the Kali Yuga has come, this Purana, the Bhagavatam, is now the sun. And of course, if you know Plato compares God to the sun, as a source of light, the source of power. So comparing God to the sun is a very old metaphor, and it's in the Bhagavatam as well, not only in Plato, so that this Puranarka, Arka means the sun. This Purana, which is the sun, has now risen to give light to Kali Yuga, to give knowledge, to protect people, to reveal the path. This Purana has now risen like the sun. So the Bhagavatam says other things about itself. For example, in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Jataha, that this Bhagavatam will teach us the source of everything, where everything comes from. And everything comes from a person, Dhamna Swena, with his own abode. It's not an impersonal energy. Everything comes from a personal source. Dhamna Swena, with his own abode. Sada, always. Nirasta Kuhakam, completely free of illusion, completely free of cheating. It's not that Krishna says, surrender to me and I'll protect you, and then you surrender. And he says, it was a joke. I'm not going to protect you. No. Nirasta Kuhakam, all cheating, all deception, all deceit is completely, literally thrown away in the Bhagavatam. Nirastam. Dhamna Swena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyang Parang Dhimahi. And so let us meditate on that Satyam Param, that supreme truth. So the Bhagavatam is Krishna himself, Krishna in the sense that Krishna is present in the Bhagavatam. It is the source of light and justice in this fallen age. And also the second verse of the Bhagavatam says, Dharma projita kaitavotra, which literally means, this is the second verse of the Bhagavatam, that Dharma projita kaitava, which literally means that in this Bhagavatam you will find Dharma, a path, a spiritual path, in which all cheating has been rejected. And of course, cheating can mean different things. It may mean someone who's not God claiming to be God. It can be claiming to serve God when actually you really want God to serve you by giving you everything that you want. Kaitava, the word kitava means a cheater. And so kaitava means cheating. And projita means rejected, thrown out. So dharma, projita kaitavotra, here in the Bhagavatam is a dharma, a spiritual path, a set of guidelines for human behavior in which cheating, deception has been rejected. So I think, and the word kuhaka, it means something similar. So it's very interesting that this is sort of an indirect accusation, because the Bhagavatam is emphasizing that this is not cheating. There's no falsity here. This is the real thing. And the obvious implication is that there are other books claiming to be scriptures in which there are false statements. I'm not saying that we're not fanatical. It's not that we're saying other religions are false, because even in the Vedic culture, there is cheating. Such as, for example, approaching God just to get all kinds of material things for yourself, not really respecting that I'm a servant of God. So when we say cheating, dharma, which is, in which there's cheating, we're not talking about like Hinduism is good or Christianity is bad or Islam is bad or Buddhism. No, we're not talking about sectarian religions. We're talking about an attitude which you can find in every religion. If you study every religion, you will find there were real saints, people who are truly devoted to the truth and who served selflessly. You'll find that in every religion. And in every religion, you'll find people that just want to exploit it because they want to get things for themselves. Sometimes they want power by becoming a religious, so-called religious leader. Sometimes they want to pray to get money or all kinds of benefits. So again, rejecting cheating religion doesn't mean rejecting one of the world religions. It means rejecting a certain attitude, which you can find to some extent in every religion. So, because Krishna is non-different from the Bhagavatam, to have the Bhagavatam in your home is really to have Krishna living with you. It is a deity. The Bhagavatam is a deity of Krishna. And Krishna says in the Gita, actually, in 433, everyone sort of knows that famous verse, try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, as I believe it's translated. So, but the verse right before that, the verse, no one takes a look at that. What's the verse right before it? Krishna says, why is it important to approach a learned person to get knowledge? Because Shreyan Dravyamaya Jagya Jnana Jagya Parantapa. Krishna says, better than an offering in which you give me some material paraphernalia. Like arti, for example, in Sanskrit, that's called dravya. Offering incense, offering a lamp, and so on. Krishna doesn't say we shouldn't do that. I mean, we should do it. It's part of our devotional culture. But Krishna says there's something even better. And that is opening your mind to this knowledge and worshiping me by honoring and accepting and following the knowledge that I offer you. And Krishna says that's even better. Sanskrit word is Shreyan, which means better, more glorious. And Krishna says, Sarvam karmakilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Because after all, partha, all rituals, all other processes culminate in knowledge. The goal is to really understand Krishna, to really understand him, to see him as he is. And of course, when you really understand Krishna, you surrender. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7:19, where he says, Sarva bahunam janmanam ante, after many births, bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan, one who has knowledge, who really understands, mam prapadyate, surrenders to me. So the goal is knowledge, because if you have knowledge, then you will surrender to Krishna. Krishna, for example, says in Gita chapter 10, verse 10, that famous verse, Teshang satata juktanam, for those who are always devoted to me, who worship me with love, I give them the ability to reason spiritually. Buddhi yoga, spiritual reason. You become spiritually rational. You can analyze things properly. You can come to right decisions, and you act upon your decisions. So that's why the Bhagavatam is so important, because the Bhagavatam is, according to H.D.Goswami, who's the great epistemologist in our tradition, the one who goes into the philosophy of knowledge. What constitutes valid knowledge? How do we get valid knowledge? And so on. And he says the most important source of knowledge is the Bhagavatam. So all these things, of course, are interlinked. And so it's a great thing to put the Bhagavatam in your house. That's the conclusion. So thank you all very much. Do you have any questions? Let me take a look also at Facebook, see if anybody has any questions. Let's see. I now am the proud owner of reading glasses. That sounds like an interesting question. So someone asked, I really wonder if it means that if you install a set of Bhagavatam like deities, it needs to be worshipped with Artik ceremony. No, it needs to be read. You need to read it and take it seriously and apply it in your life. That's the way you worship the Bhagavatam. And of course, obviously, don't put it on the floor. Let's see. Any nice comments? Okay. So any question there in San Antonio, Texas? Come in, San Antonio.
I don't have any questions. Anybody else have any questions?
You don't have to have a question. You can.
Thank you so much.
I get the same pay for less work. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for. Thank you all for your devotion to Krishna.
Maharaj, how would you recommend one study the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and what would you recommend for like a newer congregation as ourselves, where it's not so easy for everybody to come in the mornings and have Bhagavatam class? You know, maybe we could start some online course or some
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah, as far as how to, okay, for those on Facebook, how to study the Bhagavatam and how to do a group study when a community, people have families and jobs and they can't all come together every morning. I would say at least once a week. That's why I give my weekly Bhagavatam class. And even other times during the week, maybe you could even something like this, FaceTime is better than nothing. I mean, we're having a good time here. We're, digitally connected here. And as far as I can tell, we're all having a good time and we're learning something. So, yeah, so you could do that. And where there's a will, there's a way. Just, you have to be practical. You have to see what's practical. And, you're intelligent. I'm sure you could find some innovative way that you can all share the Bhagavatam together.
Could you speak a little bit on how you were translating the 11th and 12th cantos?
How translate? Yeah, 10th. Actually, most of the work I did was in the 10th canto. We did 75 chapters in the 10th canto. How did I do it? That's a good question. I felt in my heart that Prabhupada and Krishna wanted me to do it. I'd always been interested in Sanskrit, always loved Sanskrit. And so in 1978, I believe. Was it 1979? Maybe 78, I think. December 1978, I was in Brazil. I was in Sao Paulo. I was getting ready to leave on a trip to go down to South Brazil, which is sort of the most European part of Brazil, and to go to Curitiba and just to explore, southern Brazil, how we could open centers there and so forth. And so I was waiting there was a devotee, a lady, Vaishnavi, disciple of mine, I think Sundari, who had a car. And she owned a car. She was a couple of years older than the other devotees. And she had a car. And she was bringing the car so we could use it to go down South Brazil. She was loaning us the use of the car very kindly. And so I was waiting for her to come. I think she came and had a flat tire and they had to go get it fixed. Something happened like that. So I was waiting for the car. And my associate, Lokasakshi Prabhu, who was one of our senior devotees in Brazil, he was always scholarly, went on to earn a PhD. And he had a library. And his library was right next to the room I stayed in Sao Paulo. And so I was waiting. I just looked around the library. Looked around his library, and I found a very special book. It was by Mac Donnell. In fact, I have a copy here. A Sanskrit Grammar for Students, published over 100 years, about 120 years ago. Actually, exactly 100, maybe 120 years ago in Oxford. And I had studied that book in 1972, just after I took sannyas, and Prabhupada said, now is not the time for you to study Sanskrit. So I threw it away. First edition was actually in 1927, first published in 1927. The dictionary was 1899. But when I saw the book on the shelf, Krishna just told me to take the book off the shelf. And I knew in my heart that I had passed Prabhupada's test. I'd thrown away the book. This was 78, so 6 years ago. God, things seems in those days like it was 100 years ago, but it was only 6. And at this time, I did have to learn Sanskrit because I knew that the BBT had some arrangement which wasn't working. In the year after Prabhupada left, they had produced like 2 verses in a year, 2 verses. And to give you an example to compare, once we got our team going, we were doing about 40 verses a day, as opposed to 2 verses a year. So anyway, so I started studying Sanskrit, and then I arranged the BBT Gopi Pranadana Prabhu, who was a really good Sanskrit scholar. He joined the team. We invited Pradyumna, who had been doing it, to join, but he declined. And so then we started doing it. It took about a year to get the team all together in the same place. And we actually started the Bhagavatam translation in Berkeley, California. Berkeley is kind of, I don't know, I have some connection. I first saw devotees in Berkeley I first saw Prabhupada in Berkeley, and I joined the movement in Berkeley, and I started the Bhagavatam translation in Berkeley. So Be True to Your School, song by the Beach Boys. If you don't know that song, then you're probably younger than I am. So anyway, by Krishna's mercy, that's how we did it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Acharya Deva, we have had several more people come in while you were talking, so I think we now have a much larger crowd here.
Yeah, well, you know, they can watch it. It's going to be posted on YouTube and on Facebook.
Thank you. We really appreciate you so much for being willing to share with us.
It's a pleasure. So I wish you all the best of, not luck, but just success in your Krishna consciousness. And those who came in late, yeah, you can watch it if you like. Okay, Hare Krishna. Oh, we're still on FaceTime, and a question just came in. Let's see, what was that? Chudnandadas. Why are there other scriptures, Bible, Quran? Because some people won't read the Bhagavatam. You know, people take birth in different places by their karma, by their predispositions. And the important thing is to get them started, give them some notion of God. And so Krishna is very merciful, and he lets everyone start where they're at. Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you for watching, and Hare Krishna.